All right, thank you guys. Welcome to our Major League Baseball video here today for Sunday, June 13th. My name is Brock Page and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. And if you want to see which one of these YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally here today, don't forget to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. And speaking of Patreon, guys, we're coming fresh off our third straight winning day on my Patreon website. That's going to put us at 11-4 in our last 15 premium sports picks on that page over the past 3 days. We're also 3-0 in our last three $1.99 daily best plays on that Patreon site as well. And if you want to access today's $1.99 daily best play, it's only going to cost you just $1.99. We currently have over 1,050 members who are signed up and active on that page. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. Once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off with the 2 o'clock slate here. And that's going to be the Astros taking on the Twins, 2:10 p.m. Eastern first pitch. The Houston Astros are minus 155, totals 9.5. Framber Valdez for Houston, Michael Pineda for Minnesota. And despite some really good stuff out of Michael Pineda this season, the Twins are still a dozen games below 500, and they rank in the bottom 3 in runs allowed. Now, this Twins pitching staff is also in the bottom 5 in striking batters out. They're taking on a Houston team who leads the league in hits and runs. Kyle Tucker has hit a dozen homers and knocked in 41. Meanwhile, Yuli Gurriel is batting .327 with 46 RBI himself. Gurriel's in the top 10 in the majors in both of those categories. And aside from some incredible offensive production, this Astros pitching staff is in the top 10 in fewest hits allowed. Framber Valdez comes into today's start with a 1.47 ERA and a .87 WHIP. When it comes to the total on this one, the Astros are 19-12 to the over when they bat first. Meanwhile, Minnesota's 21-13 to the over at Target Field. They're also 43-21 to the over for the entire season. I'm going to lean toward the Houston Astros minus $1.55 and the over 9.5. Next matchup, Pirates Brewers, 2:10 Eastern start time. Milwaukee Brewers are minus 200, totals 9 juice to the under. Adrian Houser for Milwaukee, Will Crowe for Pittsburgh. Now, Crowe's yet to get his first win of the year. He's 0-4 with a 7.26 ERA and a 1.77 WHIP. The last place Pirates have the second fewest wins in the National League. They currently find themselves 17 games below 500. Now, Pittsburgh's also gotten the W in just 10 out of 31 road games, and they're dead last in the majors in scoring on average per game. The Pirates send just 3-point runners. The Pirates send just 3.1 runners across the plate a game on the road. Pittsburgh's also in the middle of a 6-game losing streak. They're taking on a first-place Milwaukee squad who's done a real nice job in divisional play. They're 16-10 against the National League Central, 8-1 straight up in their last 9 ball games over the past few weeks. This Milwaukee pitching staff currently leads the majors in strikeouts, and they're allowing less than 7.1 hits a game. Adrian Houser comes into today's start with a 3.66 ERA and 52 strikeouts. When it comes to the total on this one, Milwaukee's gone 7-4 to the under in their last 11 divisional games at Miller Park. They're also 16-10 to the under against the NL Central at any location. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh has gone 18-13 to the under when they bat first. I'm going to lean toward the Milwaukee Brewers minus 1.5 and the under 9 runs. Next contest, Royals versus the A's, 4:07 Eastern Standard Time. The Oakland A's are the $2 favorite. Totals 8.5 juice to the under. Chris Bassett for Oakland. Chris Bubic for Kansas City. Now, Bubic comes into today's start with a 3.32 ERA and 32 strikeouts. This Royals pitching staff also ranks in the top 5 in the league in fewest hits allowed on the road. They're holding their opponents to less than 7.3 hits a game in that particular category. They're taking on an Oakland club who struggled to cash in on the run line despite their recent success. Out of Oakland's 34 games at home this year against American League competition, they've successfully cashed in on the run line in just 38% of those contests. This A's lineup ranks in the bottom 3 in the league in home hits. They're averaging less than 6.7 hits a game in that category. Now, total-wise, 4 out of Oakland's last 5 home games stayed under the line. They also went 70% to the under in their last 10 ball games at any location. Kansas City, on the other side, went 20-12 to the under in their road games themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Kansas City Royals plus 1.5 and the under 8.5 runs. Next ball game, it is going to be Rangers versus the Dodgers. 4:10 Eastern first pitch. The LA Dodgers are minus 230, totals 8 flat. Walker Buehler for Los Angeles, Dane Dunning for Texas. Now Dunning's just 2-4 with a 4.26 ERA and a 1.39 WHIP. The last place Rangers are 15 games below 500 right now. They've gotten the W in just 10 out of 34 road games. As a matter of fact, Texas has the fewest road wins in the American League. This Texas pitching staff is dead last in the majors in hits allowed away from home. They're taking on a Dodger club who won 3 out of their last 4 home games against the American League. As a matter of fact, the Dodgers also cashed in on the run line in just 3 out of those very 4 contests. It's not in just 3 out of their last 4. They did cash in on the run line in 3 out of those 4 contests as well. This LA lineup leads the majors in walks at the plate, top 3 in scoring. Max Muncy's hit 14 home runs, 947 OPS. He's also been walked 46 times already at the plate. Meanwhile, Justin Turner has got himself a dozen homers on the season himself, 34 RBI for the third baseman. And even if the bats don't come alive here today, this Dodger pitching staff is holding their opponents to less than 6.9 hits a game. They also strike out nearly 11 batters a game on their home field. Walker Buehler is responsible for 72 of those strikeouts this season. The righty's a perfect 5-0 thus far in the year with a 2.56 ERA. Buehler's also got a .91 WHIP. Total-wise, 3 out of the Rangers' last 5 road games got over the line, 60% to the over in their last 10 outings at any location. Meanwhile, 3 out of LA's last 4 contests at Dodger Stadium got over the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward the LA Dodgers minus 1.5 and the over 8 runs. Next game, Angels Diamondbacks, 4:10 p.m. Eastern start time. The LA Angels are minus 135, numbers 10. Patty Sandoval for Los Angeles. John Duplantier for Arizona. Now, Duplantiers 0-2 with a 10.03 ERA and a 1.80 WHIP. The Diamondbacks have the worst record in Major League Baseball. They find themselves 25 games below 500. Arizona's dead last in runs allowed per contest, dead last in hits allowed per contest at home. They're squaring off against an Angels club who's been kind of beating up on their National League opponents this year. The Angels have gotten the W in 3 out of their last 4 road games against National League competition. They also won 5 out of their last 7 interleague games at any location. LA's currently on a 5-game winning streak, 10-3 straight up in their last 13. This Angels lineup is in the top 10 in scoring, top 5 in hits. Shohei Ohtani's leading the club in homers with 17 of them. He also has 45 RBI in the season as well. The Phenom has a 966 OPS, which actually puts him in the top 10 in the majors in all 3 of those categories I just mentioned. Meanwhile, Justin Upton's hit 14 home runs and knocked in 29. And even if the bats for some reason don't come alive here today, the Angels still have Patty Sandoval on the bump here today. He's got a 3.62 ERA and 27 strikeouts through just over 27 innings. Now, total-wise, LA's last 3 straight road games went over the total, 70% to the over in their last 10 outings anywhere. Meanwhile, the D-backs saw their last 4 straight at Chase Field get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the LA Angels minus 135 and the over 10 runs. And with that, now it's time for our next and final matchup. Cardinals versus the Cubs, 7:08 Eastern first pitch. The Chicago Cubs are minus $1.25, totals 9.5. Zach Davies for Chicago, Carlos Martinez for St. Louis. Now Martinez is just 3-6 on the season with a 6.21 ERA. The Cards have lost 8 out of their last 9 ball games, and they walk more batters per 9 than any other team in the majors. This Cardinals pitching staff walks over 4.9 batters a game on the road. And conversely, the Cardinals are also in the bottom 10 in runs allowed away from home as well. They're taking on a first-place Cubbies team who's been very good at home this season. The Cubbies are currently 23-10 in the friendly confines, and that's good for the most home wins in the National League. Chicago is currently on a 4-game winning streak, and they're also in the top 10 in home scoring. Javi Baez has hit 14 homers and knocked in 40 thus far in the season. Meanwhile, Chris Bryant has hit 39 He hasn't hit them. He has 39 RBI himself, along with 13 homers. Who's the new guy taking notes here today? What did I say? Chris Bryant. He's got 39 RBI, 13 homers. And this Cubbies pitching staff is also allowing just 3.4 runs a game at Wrigley. Now, total-wise, Chicago's gone 11-6 to the under in divisional play at home. They're also 20-13 to the under in the friendly confines for the entire season. I'm going to lean toward the Chicago Cubs minus $1.25 and the under 9.5. And that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap, powered to you by my Patreon website. I like Houston minus 155 over 9.5. Milwaukee minus 1.5 under 9 runs. Kansas City plus 1.5 under 8.5. LA Dodgers minus 1.5 over 8 runs. LA Angels minus 135 over 10. And before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 11-4 in our last 15 premium sports picks on my Patreon website. We're also 3-0 in our last 3 daily best play tier package picks on that Patreon page as well. And if you want to access today's daily best play, it's only going to cost you just $1.99. I'm going to lean toward the Chicago Cubs minus $1.25 and the under 9.5 runs. And if you found yourself really enjoying this video here today, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. And if you are new here today or this week, please feel free to welcome yourself to the Brock Page sports betting community by hitting that subscribe button as well. I'd love to connect with you on a daily basis. With that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys do end up getting a membership here today on my Patreon website, just keep in mind Patreon's going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Sunday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.